Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North. On the programme tonight. Maternity services in Leeds are to be investigated after a report found dozens of baby deaths may have been preventable.
I've heard firsthand from families going right back as far as 2011 of the shocking scale of failure and the catastrophic consequences it's had for families.
The hospital trust has apologised and says it's taking significant steps to improve care. Also tonight, is York about to lose its Duke? MP Rachel Maskell pushes for legislation to remove Prince Andrew from any city connection. Yorkshire's sporting greats turn out to say goodbye to legendary cricket umpire Dickie Bird. And
this is the Tan Hill Inn, the highest pub in England. Guess which double glazing they've got?
What's it like to run the country's highest and best double glazed pub? We're at Tan Hill, where former landladies have taken a trip down memory lane.
An unsettled week to come. There'll be some rain, also sunny spells. Don't forget that detailed week ahead forecast.
Hello there, good evening. You're joining us for the first Look North of the week. And it's the announcement that scores of bereaved families have been waiting for. There is to be an independent inquiry into what have been described as catastrophic failings at 2 maternity units in Leeds. Earlier this year, a report found that the deaths of 56 babies and 2 mums over the last 5 years may have been avoidable. The Trust has apologised and says it's taking significant steps to improve care. In a moment, we'll talk to Fiona Windsor-Ram, who lost her newborn daughter, Aliona, in 2020. But first, Abidjola has this report.
She should be here with us. And it's just... every day you wake up and you're like, I'm supposed to be seeing this little person and she's not here.
Amajit's daughter, Aziz, was stillborn in January last year. Her parents have had to fight to get answers about why she died. A review by Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust found issues in Amajit's care that could have made a difference to her baby's outcome.
The difficulty we've had over the last year or so is just the Trust saying, we've done everything, goodbye. And what we've had to keep doing is knocking on the door and saying, no, you haven't, because we've got all these questions that are still unanswered. No investigations have been done on a clinical perspective. And no accountability has been done where you've brought together people who were involved in our care to say, do you realise the extent of failings? Do you know what happened here?
The BBC has spoken to more than 70 families who feel that Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust failed them too during pregnancy and childbirth. They've been campaigning for more to be done to look into the care that the Trust provides. After an unannounced inspection in June, the Care Quality Commission downgraded the Trust's maternity units to inadequate. In August, the government announced a national rapid review of UK maternity services. But today, they've announced an independent inquiry to specifically investigate the maternity services in Leeds.
When you look at the data and the extent to which one of the largest teaching hospitals in Europe has been a real outlier, particularly in terms of perinatal mortality, when you look at the culture that has seen families often denied access to information about what went wrong, or worse still, misled or lied to about what happened in their cases, I do think that there is an exceptional case in Leeds to have a Nottingham-style independent inquiry into the failures.
Brendan Brown is the new CEO of Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust. As he announced the inquiry, Wes Streeting talked about the shocking scale of failure that had had catastrophic consequences. How do you respond to that?
Those families have lost their babies and they've gone through an unimaginable pain. So I think what the Secretary of State says speaks to the experience that he's been hearing from those families. I do believe that we haven't listened or cared for these families as they needed to be cared for. And that's why I'm offering my apology, not only for the care that they've received, but also for the fight that they've had to undertake.
The Trust say they're already making improvements. More than 60 new midwives, 2 new obstetricians, extra investment into facilities and equipment, and ongoing work to enable staff to raise any concerns.
It means a cease didn't die in vain. Like, it means there will be learning. It means there won't just be lip service anymore. There won't just be lessons will be learned, said. There will be actual change in the trust.
Aziz's parents hope this new inquiry will ensure no one else is faced with the same loss and grief and struggles that they're living through. Abby Chaola, BBC Look North, Leeds.
We're going to hear now from Fiona Windsor-Ram, whose daughter died 27 minutes after she was born in 2020. She's been here on Look North many times over the last 18 months, and the lawyer who's been working with bereaved families, Katie Warner, both came into the studio to give us their reaction to the inquiry being announced.
This is obviously not the first time that I've sat on the sofa with you discussing this topic before. Families have been campaigning for this now for years. It's actually 5 years, 9 months and 19 days for us personally to have got to this moment. So yeah, we are very pleased that we've achieved the goal that we set out to get, and now we just need to secure the right leadership for this independent inquiry. The
hospitals have admitted failings, apologised. There has been a rapid review. Why is an independent inquiry needed? Yeah, the hospital's very good at regurgitating these sorries and words that they have. But unfortunately, so many families have seen this for years on end of saying that lessons are going to be learned, and what they're saying and the actions are seeming to be two rather different things. There has obviously been a rapid review conducted by the MSSP programme, and that's found 101 recommendations that need to be addressed within Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust for the maternity department. However, from accounts from whistleblowers, from families that are still coming forward, it's very obvious that these issues are persisting and that the management at Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust cannot achieve this on their own, which is why a full independent inquiry is needed, not only to examine what's happened and how this has been allowed to happen, but for that real-time accountability to actually enact change on the ground. Katie, the BBC has spoken to 70 bereaved families. Do you think there's still some out there that haven't yet come forward, that have been impacted by this?
We believe there might be, and obviously we'll only know that once the inquiry is underway and we start consulting with those families, but that's our concern, yes.
Fiona, what do you hope will happen next now this inquiry has been launched?
Yeah, so the conversations happened with Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, where he's agreed to this full independent inquiry. Conversations have now begun over who's going to be the most suitable person to lead that inquiry, and he's open to putting prospective people to us and families being able to make that decision with him, so that we're working together rather than being done to. From a family's point of view, the most important next step is to appoint the correct leadership, which families strongly believe should be Donna Ockenden, because she's got the proven track record of being able to work with staff, being able to change cultures, being trauma-informed, working with families, and being able to create on-the-ground change in real time, rather than it being a process of waiting X amount of time for the report to being done and then change is happening.
Fiona, you've always said that you are fighting to give your children a voice. Do you feel now that your children have got the justice they deserve?
I think it's the first step on that journey. We do this because it's a compulsion, it's not a choice. Our children's voices were stolen by Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust, and we stand up for them in death as the same as we would do in life. We know that they would be shouting the same things that we are, and it comes from love. You know, this is the only way that we can now parent our children, because that's all been robbed from us, and we hope that they would be proud of what we've achieved so far. But in terms of justice and accountability, that's just the first step in that process that's now happening.
Fiona, Katie, thank you. Well, if you or someone you know has been affected by tonight's report, you can find details of organisations offering information and support with bereavement at bbc.co.uk/action line, or call for free at any time to hear recorded information on 08000 158 707. Next night, he's the Duke making headlines around the world for all the wrong reasons. But while the Duke of York has said he will no longer use his titles after more allegations about his links to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, the local MP Rachel Maskell says that's not enough. She wants the government to legally remove the Prince's titles and sever all links with York. Phil Bodmer is in the city tonight finding out what the people who live there think. Phil, it's all yours.
Well, Amy, Prince Andrew has a long association with the city, as you well know. He's visited the city on many occasions over the years. And that title, Duke of York, although he said he will voluntarily give it up, it still remains his. And the government has said it will not introduce legislation to formally remove it. As you mentioned there, the local MP, the MP for York Central, Rachel Maskell, says that she believes that those formal ties, those associations with the city, should be formally cut.
York is England's only human rights city and therefore upholds really high standards about the way we treat one another, and that's certainly so far removed from the disgusting findings that we've heard about the Epstein empire. My bill wouldn't name individuals, it would give the King new powers to be able to make those determinations. It seems only right that if you've got the powers to give a title, that you also have the powers to remove that title, and that's the simple change that I'm looking for.
Well, important to say that Prince Andrew denies any wrongdoing, but does that drip, drip, drip of lurid headlines about his association with Jeffrey Epstein over recent days, weeks, months, even years, does it sully the reputation of the city of York? Well, if you ask residents, if you ask visitors, they're not short of opinions.
These titles are really meaningless. They're handed out by the monarch-like sweeties to various favoured members of the royal family. Andrew's connection to York is very tenuous at the best, isn't it, really? Does he have a house here? Does he have business connections or any other connections here? I think they're very, very tenuous.
We're visitors on holiday, so we didn't come to York and think about that. We're just admiring how beautiful the city is.
And let's face it, if that was a problem, then Sussex.
I think it makes sense for the royal family that they've done that, but I think it comes from an idea of trying to get themselves away from as much controversy as possible. I doubt it's come from a very good moral viewpoint of why. I think it's trying to just stir themselves away from trouble because he's had allegations for a long time. We've got the new Virginia book coming out soon, and they've not done anything else to try and prove his innocence or talk about it. They've not held discussions really about it. They've not tried to talk to people that have started these rumours or victims.
Well, yesterday the Metropolitan Police confirmed that it was actively looking into reports that Prince Andrew tried to obtain personal information about Virginia Giuffre through his police protection team. But as you may imagine, with the publication of her posthumous memoirs due out tomorrow, the headlines around this are unlikely to subside anytime soon. Amy.
Phil, thank you. You are watching Monday's Look North. Still to come on tonight's programme. All the sport and that very special goal Barnsley got in, there we go, that Bradford fan Paul refuses to stop talking about. But before that, a West Yorkshire police officer has been dismissed for gross misconduct. The female officer, who cannot be identified, had an inappropriate relationship with a suspected drug dealer. An investigation directed by the Independent Office for Police Conduct found that during the course of their relationship, she responded to a report of drug dealing involving the man but failed to properly record or investigate it. A man has died after a road accident on the A64 during the early hours of this morning. The incident happened on the eastbound carriageway of the A64 between the junction of the A136 and the A19. Police say the collision involved a Ford Transit Connect van and stationary Volvo HGV. The driver of the transit van died at the scene of the collision. He's been named as Scott Proudlock, who was from the Malton area. Some households in North Yorkshire are having to boil their tap water before use. Yorkshire Water say that tap water may be contaminated in some postcodes in the HG3 area. Households there must boil water and allow it to cool before drinking or preparing food. Yorkshire Water say they're working to restore services fully as soon as possible. Now, the Experience Barnsley Museum has won a national award. It's the free museum that explores Barnsley's past, and it impressed the judges with its family-friendly activities and wide range of things to do. It won the Best Small Museum category for the Family Friendly Museum Awards, and then won the overall award for 2025. Well done to them, great news. Scores of people turned out in Barnsley yesterday for the funeral of Yorkshire cricket legend Dickie Bird. Famous faces from cricket and beyond came to pay their respect to one of the best-known umpires in the sport. Dickie died last month at the age of 92. Mark Ansell reports.
The Yorkshireman loved by all and remembered forever in Barnsley. Dickie Bird died peacefully at home last month at the age of 92.
We should cherish our memories of him. Harold Dennis Dickie Bird was a one-off and very, very special. Rest in peace, my friend.
Former England batter Sir Geoffrey Boycott was friends with Dickie for almost 70 years and led tribute to him.
And his great skill was handling players. Because when you've got big strapping fast bowlers getting cross, getting annoyed, it just had a knack of making them smile and making them laugh.
Dickie was the son of a miner. Nerves got the better of him as a cricketer, but it was as a first-class umpire for 23 years that he really excelled. The world of cricket and dignitaries from Yorkshire gathered at St Mary's Church to pay tribute.
Yeah, you can tell from the turnout that we're all very fond of Dickie, and he's going to be greatly missed, but he's a legend of Yorkshire and Yorkshire Cricket Club.
Obviously a very sad day, bittersweet because Dickie's no longer with us, but I'm proud what the church service today, his friends, his family and his community have done for him.
The service itself, I think, was a fitting tribute to Dickie, and there'll never be another Dickie Bird, will there?
Dickie was cherished nowhere more than here in Barnsley.
I met Dickie on so many occasions. Again, the last time at Scarborough, I went and shook his hand, and he spent 10 minutes talking to me about his beloved Barnsley Football Club. Just very proud to have been here today and have the opportunity to celebrate his life.
He always talked to everybody, so I've always known him as a presence, and nice man, lovely man.
He used to come into St Mary's on an afternoon after he'd been down in the town centre on the market and say, he always used to call me lad, and he went, "Now lad," he said, "I'm just coming here for some peace and quiet." He says, I've been stopped 4 or 5 times for selfies, but what can you say?
A very good innings for a man who entertained us all, both on and off the cricket pitch. 92 and out. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North.
There's certainly only one Dickie Bird. Rest in peace, Dickie. Time for the sport now. Here's Sal, and celebrations in Rio, I hear.
Yeah, that's right, Amy. Yeah, two-time Paralympic champion Steve Bate has bowed out in style by becoming world champion at the Paracycling Track World Championships in Rio de Janeiro before retiring from the sport. Bates, who's lived in Yorkshire during his cycling career, got the rainbow stripes one more time, beating Italy in the final of the men's tandem individual pursuit alongside pilot Chris Latham. That makes a total of 5 world titles and 5 Paralympic medals during 11 years with the Great Britain cycling team. They gave him a guard of honour as he stepped off the track for the very last time. I caught up with him briefly this morning before he set off back home.
What a finish! I couldn't have dreamed of that, and for that to come off was pretty special day.
And that guard of honour was special, wasn't it?
It blew me away. Be sent off like that was pretty amazing. A lot of the team travelled down from the hotel especially for that, which I was super grateful for. Yeah, to go out as a world champion is you couldn't dream of that sort of stuff. So everyone said it's the last dance, you got to go with a bang. So we did it. It's a real privilege. I feel very grateful. So it's what a way to sign off.
To football now, and in the Premier League, Leeds lost 2-0 to Burnley, but in the Championship, Sheffield United earned their first home victory this season, beating Watford 1-0. Callum O'Hare scored to give United their second win under returning manager Chris Wilder. The result lifts them off the bottom of the table on goal difference, above rivals Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday's troubles, though, continue as they are now without a fit senior goalkeeper after this collision during the game against Charlton Athletic. Goalie Ethan Horvath was treated on the field before being shown the red card. He'll now serve a 2-match ban, leaving the Owls' depleted squad even more threadbare. Wednesday lost 2-1. Meanwhile, in the League One Yorkshire derby, Bradford and Barnsley scored 2 apiece for the draw. This from the Bantam's Anthony Sarcevic, but Barnsley came from behind twice to level the score, and this has to be the goal of the week. Look at this. Reyes Cleary, in his own half, takes the shot and incredibly scores. Simply sensational. And Rotherham beat Leyton Orient 1-0 at home. It was substitute Sam Nombe with the winner in his first game back after injury. And in League Two, Chesterfield came from behind to secure a 1-1 draw against Fleetwood and maintain their unbeaten home record in the league. In ice hockey, the Sheffield Steelers have qualified for the Challenge Cup semi-finals with a game in hand. They beat Cardiff Devils 4-1 on Sunday, capping off a successful weekend. They also beat Coventry 6-1 in the league on Saturday. And Yorkshire's Luke Richardson took victory in the final event of the official Strongman World Tour, just months after suffering a serious injury. The 28-year-old from Harrogate underwent major bicep surgery 4 months ago, but returned on Saturday to win the World Tour finals in Glasgow. It's his second Giants Live title of 2025. He was also victorious in Europe's Strongest Man in Leeds in April. And that's your sport for now, Amy.
Sal, thanks very much. Now, if you ever fancy a few days off grid, you need to head to this place, the Tan Hill Inn, situated in the highest corner of Swaledale. It's become famous for trapping its punters for days. It is so remote, snowfall often cuts it off from the outside world. Well, now the history of Britain's highest pub is being gathered for posterity using the memories of its former landladies. They're reuniting at the pub, and Kathy Killick has been to meet them too.
It's proud to call itself Britain's highest pub, but the Tan Hill Inn's title comes with a downside. 6 miles from the nearest A road and in remote moorland, it takes a special person to run a business here. One of them is 90-year-old Audrey Yeardley, who ran the pub in the early 1960s. She's back for a reunion visit, one of several she's paid over the years.
I'd suddenly feel the urge to come back, and I get in the car, and every mile I got younger in my head. So when I got back here, I was in my late 20s, and it's just been magical. Every time I come back, it's like it was. You know, I suppose it's like that for everyone. There's a homesickness for it, you know.
It was only 4 miles, but the drifts were 14 feet deep.
In the infamous winter of 1963, Audrey was snowed in with her 2 sons for 13 weeks.
100 stranded civilians took to the moors and walked back to civilization.
The conditions were unremittingly harsh, and the family were lucky to get through it.
There came a point when we actually had to deal and feed ourselves with what there was. Potatoes became the key, and that was also keeping them away from the rats, because it was so cold that the rats burrowed through the door, and they came and they made their nests underneath the floorboards.
Also returning for a fireside chat is Sue Hanson, who bought the pub in the 1980s. She and Audrey are kindred spirits who loved their lives here.
It's unique. I've never worked in a pub before, and I don't drink. It's all very hapless, really, but it's just a very special place. I'd never been to Swaledale. I couldn't believe that there was anywhere at the end of the road that landed here. It's a bit like being on an ocean liner, because the moors, they're endless, like the sea around you.
It was under Sue's auspices that Ted Moult filmed a famous advert here.
These new frames are made from tough UPVC, and they've got the famous Everest draft proofing.
Whoever made up the idea of Ted Moult dropping the feather down, that was Brainwave, wasn't me.
The advert put the pub on the map and made it famous. The landlady is becoming part of a living history, now being caught on camera by the pub's latest owner, keen to preserve their stories.
All the chapters are just interesting, and we just feel a responsibility to really kind of capture it all now.
The hope is that history could help preserve the pub as punters fall for its warm welcome in harsh climes. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North, Tan Hill Inn.
Some great pictures. You know, whenever there's a flurry, it's the first place we call. Are you snowed in yet? Isn't it, Paul?
That's a dream, isn't it, being locked in there with
Do you know,
a load
some
of
people
snow.
have actually been there, seen the snowfall and gone because they know they're going to be stuck there for a few days for a party.
Landlady could be stranded there and she doesn't drink. She's missing a trick or two there. Let's have a look at this view from Huddersfield. Very autumnal there. You can see Castle Hill in the distance. And this next shot was taken there in North Yorkshire, showing at least we did have some brightness, but with a few sunny spells, that's triggered a few heavy showers, especially across North Leeds and into the North Yorkshire area. So tomorrow is looking very unsettled, sunny intervals and scattered showers, low pressure completely dominating the weather this week, but we're in between systems on Wednesday. Make a note, apart from the odd shower, Wednesday is looking dry with some sunshine before the next feature spreads up from the southwest. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty about the track of this. It could be a lot deeper, so there's a potential for some strong winds and some rain on Thursday, but I'll firm up on that on tomorrow night's Look North. Right, there's the satellite picture. A lot of cloud at the moment, some heavy downpours, the odd crack of thunder. There'll be some mistiness as well. Eventually, these showers will pull away southeastwards. A bit of fog developing, maybe the Vale of York eastwards before showers return onto the Pennines towards the end of the night, and we'll see lowest overnight temperatures down to 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow's high water times then in Scarborough 4:42, Bridlington at 5:05 in the morning. So a bit of a mixed picture first thing. Eastern areas, some fog to clear. Otherwise, it's a dry, bright start with some sunshine, but quite sharp showers from the word go across the Pennines. These showers will continue to cross from west to east. So some bright or sunny spells in between the showers, but showers never far away. And they could be quite heavy across Pennine areas. We'll see top temperatures around 15 Celsius. So if all goes to plan, Wednesday looks the best day of the week. Dry with some sunshine. The potential for more rain and maybe some strong winds Thursday, Friday, but the weekend looks colder but dry with some sunshine.
I'm so glad you stuck to weather because I thought you were going to try and talk about football again.
I could do if you wanted to.
No, we're all right. We've run out of time, thank goodness. I'll be back with you late news at 10:30. Bye-bye.